Welcome back to the 17 News at Noon podcast, where we share your news on your schedule.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Noon.
Good afternoon, and thanks for joining us. I'm Nicole Gitsky. County Board of Supervisors are discussing a busy agenda. Many of the items have to do with the COVID-19 pandemic. Supervisors are hearing a proposal to use federal funding to hire 84 intensive care nurses to help local hospitals where staff have been pushed to the limit by the pandemic. It could cost up to $12 million. Kern Public Health Director Matt Constantine says previous models showed that we were set to exceed our maximum capacity of ICU beds today.
Today was the day that the one day months ago that the model indicated there would be a concern. We are pretty close. As the hospital CEOs will tell you, as they're asking for help should tell you, we are getting near our capacity. We have available ICU beds. We don't have available nurses.
COVID-19 is not the only big topic up for discussion. Supervisors are expected to hear about the county's new homeless navigation center, now operating for just over 2 months. And then there's the fire fund. County leaders are expected to address methods to increase the fund by roughly $10 million. Well, now to the latest on the coronavirus here in Kern County. The Department of Public Health announced 1,893 new cases, along with 12 deaths. Since the pandemic began, there have been almost 17,000 positive tests. Of those, more than half are considered active. 197 people are receiving treatment for the virus in hospitals. 135 people have lost their lives. Well, here at home, the county's PPE support program is now open. The county is giving out free personal protective equipment to businesses like disinfectant wipes, hand sanitizer, face masks, and gloves. The application process started Sunday. For more information, go to kerncounty.com. And now you can track where Kern County is distributing those PPE equipment to small businesses. The equipment is at no cost for local businesses. That includes hand sanitizer, masks, gloves, and wipes. So far, Kern County has helped over 600 businesses. To see the real-time data, head over to our website, kget.com, and click on the hot link icon. Cleanup continues today at California Courthouse after a weekend protest for racial justice and police reform runs violent. Police say close to 700 demonstrators gathered in downtown Oakland Saturday night for a peaceful protest. During the demonstration, a handful of so-called agitators vandalized and set fire to the Alameda County Courthouse. Now, they smashed windows, spray painted graffiti, and started the building on fire. Around 11:30, police declared it unlawful assembly, and officers asked the crowd to disperse. Police say they made several arrests but did not provide details. There were no immediate reports of injuries to protesters or officers. And another night in another round of angry protests in Portland, Oregon, hundreds of protesters gathered outside the federal courthouse in downtown area. Now, some of those demonstrators are against police brutality and justice inequality, while others want federal law enforcement agents to leave the city. The protesters were met with force from federal law enforcement agents who used flash grenades and tear gas to disperse the resistant crowd. Well, this week you can give the gift of life and receive a gift in return. Houchin Community Blood Bank is offering gift cards to anyone who has recovered from COVID-19 and is willing to donate their blood plasma to help others survive. There are thousands of people who have recovered locally, but Houchin Community Blood Bank says just over 100 COVID-19 survivors have actually donated their plasma. Convalescent plasma donors will receive a $50 gift card to a local restaurant. Houchin will also have 2 drawings a day for $500 gift cards. And this is happening today through Saturday. If you're interested in donating, call 616-2575. And starting today, farm workers will have access to coronavirus testing. Supervisor David Couch teamed up with the California Farm Worker Foundation and Good Samaritan Hospital, working with growers to test groups of farm workers in certain areas across Kern County. The executive director of the California Farm Worker Foundation says they're one of the first counties to adopt this kind of program and the first to provide testing sites for farmers in their work sites.
We collected data before we launched this program, And data was telling us that 82% of farm workers were interested if we were to provide these type of testing at the work site. So the numbers are there, the data's there. We see a lot of enthusiasm among farm workers. A lot of them want to get tested. One of the main reasons why they want to get tested when we look at data and we look at numbers is they want to have a peace of mind. They want to make sure that they're able to still go to their families and be safe and make sure that more than anything that their families are safe as well.
We have everything set up.
Now today the first test will go to farm workers in Delano, then Lamont on Wednesday and McFarland on Thursday. Each week, officials will decide on a new schedule for testing. And happening tomorrow, the Mission at Kern County is hosting another food distribution for families impacted by COVID-19. The Mission has been handing out protein boxes full of meat and cheese to the community every Wednesday for several weeks now. The meals are provided by the USDA Farm to Families program and are designed to feed a family of 6 for 1 week. The Mission will continue the food giveaway every Wednesday from 8:30 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. through August. And with wildfire season underway, there are some things you should keep in mind. When there's an active fire, be sure to take care of your lungs. Wildfire smoke contains particulate matter, which can trigger asthma attacks and aggravate chronic bronchitis. This smoke can also increase the risk of heart attack and stroke. Taking care of your lungs is especially important during the COVID-19 outbreak. If you're exposed to dirty, polluted air, move inside as soon as possible. If you're already indoors, keep your doors and windows closed. And an important reminder, with the heat comes a lot of dangers, especially for children. Children die every year of heat stroke after being left or stuck in a hot car. According to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, the first child to die of heat stroke in 2020 was stuck out of the home and became trapped inside of that family's car. This year alone, more than half of the hot car deaths happened the same way. The NHTSA asks you to keep your car locked at all times, even if you don't have children. In just 10 minutes, a car can heat up 20 degrees. NHTSA says this is 100% avoidable. Now, for more information on the dangers of hot cars, check out NHTSA's website at nthsa.org. Let's send things over to Kevin Charette. Kevin, it is such an important reminder with this hot heat to be aware.
Yeah, be aware in terms of cars, and then if you are going to be doing any type of camping over the weekend, you'll need to keep a few things in mind as well. We've got clear skies out there and already starting to warm things up. And before we get into the forecast, that's what I wanted to touch on is our wildfire season, the dangers right now. We are in the extreme category in most areas of the Kern County mountains, so campfires in a lot of places are not allowed, no burning, and no fireworks for sure. So just wanted to touch base on that. We sit at 87 in Delano, 91 in Wasco, tabbed at 94 right now, and then Bakersfield at 94 as well. And then for the mountains, we've got 90 in Tehachapi, 91 for Lake Isabella, and already near 100 out of the Ridgecrest area. Skies remain clear. A little bit of cloud cover along the coastal area this morning. That'll give way as we progress into the afternoon to sunny conditions, and that's the way we're going to keep it. And no thunderstorms in the Sierra today. If we see anything, maybe the extreme northern part of the state, but mainly to the east of us. And here's a look at the daytime highs. 101 in Sacramento, Fresno at 104. We're looking at 109 in Vegas and Phoenix, Arizona at 111. And it's all because of this ridge of high pressure that is in place right now, expanding from the south and moving northerly. So this will keep us under some heat as we go throughout the next few days. And we will see a little bit of cooling, but not much as we head into Thursday. So heat wave number 5 is in place right now. Longest stretch of 100-degree days previous was June 22nd through the 27th, and that was 6 days. And our hottest day overall, 108. And I can't remind you enough, make sure you're staying hydrated, avoid direct sunlight if you can, and limit any strenuous outdoor activities. Now, the other thing we're tracking are the tropics, and we're tracking another storm. Take a look. This is potential Tropical Cyclone 9, and it is starting to develop, and I think it's going to develop pretty quickly, eventually moving past the U.S. Virgin Islands, and then by the end of the weekend, early next week, we may see it make a move towards Florida. A lot of unknowns with this, but it is definitely a storm that we are going to be tracking here. And again, you can see the list of storms. We got done with Hannah, and now we're with Isaias. So another storm that we'll be keeping our eye on. Now, air quality today, unhealthy for sensitive groups. Your AQI at 105, your UV index at 11 today, and your forecast calling for 103 in Bakersfield, Delano, McFarland, McFarland, 100 out in Taft. For the mountains in the Kern River Valley, we're looking at temperatures near 90 in Fraser Park, 92 in Tehachapi, and for the Kern River Valley, 100 for Lake Isabella. Out in the desert, the hot spot today will be Ridgecrest at 107, Mojave at 101. Here's a look at the extended forecast, and tomorrow 104, 103 on Thursday, and then as we take a look at the weekend, right around 102. As we take a look at the mountain forecast, lower 90s across the board, 50s and 60s overnight, and then for the Kern River Valley, near 100 with overnight temperatures in the 60s to lower 70s.
All right, thanks so much for that, Kevin. You know, I was just saying to Kevin, too, before this, it was so pleasant out last night.
Yeah, in the overnight hours, we recover a little bit, but man, the daytime highs, we want to stick in the AC.
All right, well, thanks for that, Kevin, again. Well, kids might not be heading back to the classroom just yet, but many still are in need of supplies. Today in Delano, the Kern County Department of Child Support Services held a backpack drive. The event is helping prepare students for the upcoming semester. The drive-through event happened at Delano Memorial Park this morning. Now, parents were required to have their children with them to receive a backpack and other resources. And the Bakersfield Symphony Orchestra has released a series of distance learning videos to support local music programs. The series of videos also include full resources so that teachers can plan lessons ahead of time. The orchestra says their series makes connections to science, social studies, and other arts disciplinaries. They released a similar video series earlier in the year and got a lot of positive feedback. Well, even during the coronavirus pandemic, the show must go on. The Emmy nominations will be announced today. The Television Academy is planning a virtual award show hosted by comedian Jimmy Kimmel. How this will work is anyone's guess, but the BET Awards and the Daytime Emmys last month could give them a blue permit. Both shows had been produced in advance of their airing. The Emmy Award show broadcast is set to air September 20th.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Noon.
The 17 News at Noon podcast is a production of KGET and Nexstar Media Group. For more on all of the headlines in today's show, head to KGET.com.